Okay, so I wanted to do this a couple weeks ago. This was Trump's address to Congress about a week ago, and I haven't exactly had time to get to it yet, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to squeeze it in today, and, you know, well, it'll just be an extra episode for the week, hopefully. So without further ado, we're going to do a reaction video to Trump's address to Congress, so let's get into it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, the First Lady of the United States.
I have no idea how this is going to go. I've heard good things and bad things about it, so your guess is as good as mine as far as this is going to go. Oh. Standing, clapping, 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 clapping.
We are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
We condemn hate. You know, one of the things that scares me about this is whenever they sit there and say, oh, he sounded presidential, I wonder if that's just a fancy way of saying he started using that rhetoric like we stand against hate and stupid crap like that. That would be even more discouraging than the situation already is.
That torch is now in our hands, and we will use it to light up the world. I am here tonight to deliver a message of unity and strength.
Are you sure not light the world on fire?
We have placed a hiring freeze on non-military and non-essential federal workers. We have begun to drain the swamp of government corruption by imposing a 5-year ban on lobbying by executive branch officials.
That's a very good thing.
And a lifetime ban.
Good. No standing ovation for that, though. Oh, here we go. We're good now. We're good now. Boo! They're all shaking their head. But we like the lobbyists. We needs them. We wants them.
Thank you. And we're imposing a new rule which mandates that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated.
I like that rule. It ain't gonna last the second you leave.
And with the help of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, we have formed a council with our neighbors in Canada to help ensure that women entrepreneurs have access to the networks, markets, and capital they need to start a business and live out their financial dreams.
Yay! And all the Democrats were like, you son of a bitch, that's our idea! Except for some girls. There's some girls in some pink coats back there that are going, yay, equal rights! It's okay to stand for this, right? Right?
To protect our citizens, I have directed the Department of Justice to form a task force on reducing violent crime. I have further ordered the Departments of Homeland Security and Justice, along with the Department of State and the Director of National Intelligence, to coordinate an aggressive strategy to dismantle the criminal cartels that have spread all across our nation.
Are we like a DEA on steroids? What is that?
We will soon begin the construction of a great wall along our southern border.
He just keeps calling it the Great Wall. Stop calling it the Great Wall. It's going to bankrupt us. You crazy person.
What would you say to the American family that loses their jobs, their income, or their loved one because America refused to uphold its laws and defend its borders?
That's only one half of the problem. The other half of the problem is employers that hire these people because they know they can get a cheaper wage.
As promised, I directed the Department of Defense to develop a plan to demolish and destroy ISIS, a network of lawless savages that have slaughtered Muslims and Christians and men and women and children of all faiths and all beliefs. We will work with our allies, including our friends and allies in the Muslim world, to extinguish this vile enemy from our planet. I have also imposed new sanctions on entities and individuals who support Iran's ballistic missile program and reaffirmed our unbreakable alliance with the State of Israel.
That was good. That needed doing as well. Can agree with that, for sure.
Right now, American companies are taxed at one of the highest rates anywhere in the world. My economic team is developing historic tax reform that will reduce the tax rate on our companies so they can compete and thrive anywhere and with anyone. It will be a big, big cut. At the same time, we will provide massive tax relief for the middle class. We must create a level playing field for American companies and our workers. Nations around the world, like Canada, Australia, and many others, have a merit-based immigration system.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I would want a merit-based immigration system.
It's a basic principle that those seeking to enter a country ought to be able to support themselves financially. Yet in America, we do not enforce this rule, straining the very public resources that our poorest citizens rely upon.
They can't, because we charge them too much. It costs like tens of thousands of dollars to come over here.
Taxpayers many billions of dollars a year. And instead adopting
it would be cheaper if you'd stop making these stupid cards and having a bureaucratic cluster.
We'll save countless dollars
to make immigration possible.
Wages and help
hold on. I gotta pause. This is a very sneaky sleight of hand. I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but this does need to be addressed. Yeah, it does cost us billions of dollars, but half the reason immigration costs us billions of dollars is because we have a nasty, convoluted system that is not efficient. And so to sit there and put this extra pressure on the immigrants to instead of fixing the bureaucratic system is a bad strategy. Smaller government, smaller systems, more efficient programs, those are always going to be the answer. Putting pressure on the immigrant and saying, okay, well, now you have to make so much money a year because now you got to pay us and you got to be able to support yourself is a bad idea. And the only reason he's doing it is because they want to filter the number of immigrants coming into the country. But the problem isn't necessarily that people aren't qualified. The problem is that you have systems like the UN bringing in refugees. You have businesses giving a bunch of random people, unskilled workers, green cards and then trapping them in foreign areas. These are the issues that are causing the immigration rates in this country to be so high. And so to sit there and just point at the poor people that are like wanting to come for a better life and go, ha ha ha, you gotta be able to support yourself. The burden's on you now. Instead of fixing the policy issues first, I believe is a real problem.
To launch our national rebuilding, I will be asking Congress to approve legislation that produces a $1 trillion investment in infrastructure of the United States, financed
how are you going to pay
for
for it?
And private capital, creating millions of new jobs.
Public and private. That means I'm going to be paying for at least half of it. And well, hell no, I'm paying for all of it, whether it's public or private, because prices are going to go up, so the private can fund your little project. Again, how are you going to pay for that? $1 trillion? That's not what you opened up with. You're going to take the money from the UN and spend it on infrastructure that way. How are you going to fund this?
Tonight I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare.
Yes, I agree with that. That needs done. That needs done. Listen to them Democrats.
Mandating every American to buy government-approved health insurance was never the right solution for our country.
Amen. Amen.
Here are the principles that should guide Congress as we move to create a better health care system for all Americans. First, we should ensure that Americans with pre-existing conditions have access to coverage and that we have a stable transition for Americans currently enrolled in the health care exchanges. Secondly, we should help Americans purchase their own coverage through the use of tax credits and expanded health savings accounts. But it must be the plan they want, not the plan forced on them by our government.
I agree. Yes. Boo! We have to make people buy stuff! We need our kickbacks!
Thirdly, we should give our state governors the resources and flexibility they need with Medicaid to make sure no one is left out. Fourth, we should implement legal reforms that protect patients and doctors from unnecessary costs that drive up the price of insurance and work to bring down the artificially high price of drugs and bring them down immediately. So why not join forces and finally get the job done and get it done right?
Because that wouldn't make our party look good! What about me?
To invest in women's health and to promote clean air and clean water and to rebuild our military and our infrastructure.
Again, how are you going to pay for that? That's like what this is all going to come down to. We're $19 trillion in debt, and you're wanting to spend a lot of money on a lot of different stuff.
But our slow and burdensome approval process at the Food and Drug Administration keeps too many advances, like the one that saved Megan's life, from reaching those in need.
That's right.
If we
That's absolutely right.
the restraints, not just at the FDA, but across our government, then we will be blessed with far more miracles, just like Megan. Education is the civil rights issue of our time.
No.
I am calling upon members of both parties
How does
to
that
pass
work?
an education bill that funds school choice for disadvantaged youth, including millions of African American and Latino children.
Okay, that's a nice thought, but how are you going to pay for it? You're wanting to cut taxes. And I'm all for cutting taxes, but you have to cut spending too.
The murder rate in 2015 experienced its largest single-year increase in nearly half a century.
Nixon actually did a lot of that. He did a lot of the, we're going to fight crime, we're going to be tough on crime, that sort of thing. And ironically, he wound up getting wires. You know, he wound up getting in trouble for wiretaps and stuff. So I don't know if that means anything or not, but I'm just pointing that out. Nixon did have an emphasis on crime, much like what Trump's doing. So just pointing that out there. I'm not sure if it means anything, but just pointing that out there.
The office is called Voice, Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement. We are providing a voice.
Whoa, hold on.
We must support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. And we must support the victims of crime. I have ordered the Department of Homeland Security to create an office to serve American victims. The office is called Voice, Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement. We are providing a voice
okay, pause,
to those who have been ignored by our media.
Red light. I don't know exactly what that means, but let me ask you this. A, we have a police force to deal with crime. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, we have a special force, ICE, and other forces that deal with immigration. Why do we need this voice department to deal with something that we already have two departments for? And it's supposed to be helping the victims. Well, in what way? What is exactly it going to be doing? What's it doing? This makes me nervous, like really nervous. This is kind of scary. Because departments like this are going to operate like, okay, if you're a conservative, let's do this. Why do you not like these departments, like the Department of the EPA and the Department of Education? Why do you not like them? Well, the reason you don't like them, or at least most conservatives don't like them, is because you understand that, yes, they are generally built to deal with a legitimate complaint, but eventually that complaint gets dealt with, and these departments have to justify their own existence. It's the same thing with these kinds of enforcement branches. Eventually, whatever the political topic of the day is going to be dealt with. And once that's dealt with, this department is going to have to justify its existence. What's it going to do once the illegal immigration crisis is over? Well, let me give you a hint. The illegal immigration crisis will never be over if this gets done. It will never be over because they're going to have to justify their own existence once the main threat is passed. And as long as that's the case, they'll keep dragging the problem out. They'll keep broadening terms. They will do things to justify their own existence. There's no other way to put it. We should be very, very scared. I can't believe conservatives haven't called that out. What does that mean?
Jamil's 17-year-old son was viciously murdered by an illegal immigrant gang member who had just been released from prison. Jamil Shore Jr. was an incredible
Why wasn't he
young man
deported? He should have been
with
deported.
unlimited potential, who was getting ready to go to college, where he would have excelled as a great college quarterback.
This
But
does
he
not
never got the
justify
chance.
the existence
His
of an
father,
entire other
who is in the
enforcement branch.
audience
You need to
tonight,
enforce the laws you
has
have.
become
That's
a
the
very good
problem.
friend of mine. Jamil, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I was running late, and Joe is here now, and he's going to finish the reaction video with me because I asked him to. I actually dragged him into it, kicking and screaming, but he's here now. So, it's this camera right here. Yeah, so just bear with us. We're almost done.
And none are greater or braver than those who fight for America in uniform.
So yeah, if you have something to say, just chime in at any time. Don't be afraid to talk over him.
There is no reason for us to be increasing our killing power in all of these countries. You know, and that includes Syria, Libya, Yemen, which is a total disaster, which we do by proxy through Saudi Arabia primarily, although we use our own drones, and Iraq, you name it, all that Middle East area, where on a daily basis we kill untold number of people, and these people we just assume, you know, are a threat to us. And,
Yeah.
And our Constitution and our rule of law states that a person is innocent until proven guilty. Well, we kill people who we suspect may be guilty.
I know we kind of disagree a little bit on the particulars on that point, but I think we're kind of talking the same thing. My big concern with it is, how's he going to pay for all this? He's talking about cutting spending. He's talking about getting rid of, getting rid of the taxes, which is good, but then at the same time he wants to spend $1 trillion on infrastructure, and then he wants to increase spending, and then he wants to do a special bill for education, and then he wants to do all this stuff, and now he wants to start this new enforcement branch, this voice or whatever it is. And, I understand he's a bit of a financial guru. You would have to be a billionaire, but how are you supposed to become a billionaire? But how are you supposed to pay for all that and then lower the amount of money that you've got coming in?
You know, the right answer is, heck, I don't know. But all you need is a first grade education.
Yeah.
You know, you have $5, you spend 10, you have a loss. Even a first grader knows that. Apparently, Trump doesn't know that. But no, and in actuality, he does know that. What he will not do is he realizes that he cannot buck the establishment. For example, on health care, he says we're going to repeal Obamacare, but replace it. He knows if he repeals it, and one person in the United States dies purportedly because health care was not available to them at that particular point in time, he will be held responsible. So in fact, he's not bucking the system. He's just changing the color of the system.
Yeah.
And trying to make it look better.
We will respect historic institutions, but we will respect the foreign rights of all nations, and they have to respect our rights as a nation also. Thomas Edison showed an
Why are we
automatic
talking about the light
telegraph
bulb all of a sudden?
and an electric pen. Imagine the wonders our country could know in America's 250th year.
What he's talking about is the antithesis of what we should be doing.
Well, it's a good goal, but we're just not going to get there with all these programs and stuff.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, why have a husband when you can make a heck of a lot more money, on welfare and have a
We
boyfriend?
celebrate our
Yeah.
250 years
It's true.
of glorious
Makes sense to me.
We will look back.
And I'm dumb. It makes sense to me.
From now on, America will be empowered by our aspirations, not burdened by our fears. Inspired by the future, not bound by failures of the past. I am asking everyone watching tonight to seize this moment. Believe in yourselves. Believe in your future.
Have any other final thoughts before I close her out?
No, all he had to do was say, we're going to turn everything over to the people because the government is for, of, and by the people, and the people are in charge, not the government. The government will not initiate programs. The people will, because they will be free to do so without government interference, provided, as the rule says, we do not infringe upon the equal rights of others. He is, by the many manner of which he is speaking, he's infringing upon the rights of others. Everything he's doing is infringing the rights of others. He's saying, you're going to give to me, someone's going to give to me, but it's coming out of your pocket, whether you like it or not, whether
Right.
you know it or not.
Right.
You are infringing upon your rights.
Yeah.
He is infringing. So what he's saying is really all double speak, sound good. But it's such a stupid statement, and we as the USZ, the United States of Zombies, because no matter what we say, we don't critically think anymore. We go, yeah, he's presidential, he must be good. I'm a zombie, and I'll buy it.
Right.
Unfortunately, we are all zombies.
Well, there you have it. Nothing else needs to be said, folks. We're done. Good night. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate your time. If you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my channel, or you can go to Liberty Talk Radio and see Joe say this stuff a lot with a variety of different guests, and we all talk about how the world ends and have fun doing it. So, guys, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate it. Until we meet again, we'll see you later. Peace.